How would you go about creating this nice striped, uneven capped rays going from the center of this design to the outside? Hi, and welcome to the Vector Garden YouTube channel. In this video, we're going to discuss this, and it will be quite simple, but you will need some nerdy settings inside the tools that we use for it. Let's dive right into this. And in order to build this, I'm going to start just building this as if these were laid out in a straight line. So in order to build this, we are not thinking about rays, but we are going to stretch this out and then curve it again. Let's start with the rectangle tool, and also of course we need smart guides in order to align those perfectly. So let's just build some rectangles, and I'm going to set the stroke to none, and let's just apply some fills to them just like this, and then build narrow and wider rectangles. And I'm just going to use this and copy this, pressing the Alt key and then duplicating it, just like this. And I'm going to align them to the top like so. And then let's go to Window Align and adjust the spacing some more. And then, of course, we can use the direct selection tool. I'm going to push that somewhat to the top. And then we can just select some of them and adjust this so that this gets more irregular. And this is just moving them with the arrow keys so that this gets more uneven than it was before. Like this. And then maybe like so. So that we get there. We could also make more random colors in these, but I'm going to leave it like this. So in order to curve this, we're going to use an art brush. Let's go to the brushes panel and just take them and drag them into there. Make an art brush, go to OK and to OK again. So when I now use that, what will happen? Just draw a circle and apply that. And let's set the fill color to none so that we get this like so. This is not quite what I wanted here. So what I need here is that those rays only go to the outside of the circle, not to the inside, not to both sides like here. And also I want this to just be on one half of that circle. So what can we do to get there? Now, in order to apply these only to one side of the path, what you need to do is draw another rectangle. So what we are doing here is the following. I'm going to drag this out of the brushes panel. And then when we look at this in outline view, then you see there are not just the colored rectangles, but there's another rectangle. I'm going to use the group selection tool and click here. Let's go in here. There it is. So you see there's another rectangle. That is the important thing. We're going to use that rectangle. You see it's unfilled and unstroked, and it's at the bottom. So Illustrator creates that automatically, but we can only create it ourselves. So we start with the rectangle tool in here. Hold down the Alt key and drag like this. So we have this centered, and then drag this out to here. It's unfilled and unstroked, and it needs to be arranged in the back like this. And then let's select all of that and then press the Alt key and drag it over there to replace it. And you see this arrow is the path. So now it goes only to one side of the path, which is what we wanted. Apply to the strokes, and you see already it has been applied like so, and that's nice, just what we wanted. And now, of course, it's clear what we can do with only having it on the top of that circle. We can, of course, also use that rectangle. But in order for that to work, what we would need to know when drawing a new circle, and I'm just setting this to no brush, and then let's go into the stroke and let's make an arrow like this. So now we have an arrow, and you see there is the start and end point. It's a closed shape, but still it has a start and end point, which is here. So that is something that we need to know. So if I want to have it only on the top, then I would need to create some space, and it should be there. So we could also do something else. We could also just take this, hold down the Alt key and make it like this. So make it just wider, like this, and then drag it again, like so, holding the Alt key to replace that. Go to OK and apply to strokes. And you see then we get it aligned like this. And of course we could just take it and rotate it. But if you want to determine where that goes, then you can, of course, also move this rectangle, and then you can define where it's empty. This needs to be wider. It needs to be twice as wide as the original design. So what we can, of course, do, I'm going to make that smaller again, is double-click the scale tool, double-click it, and set this to 200% horizontal, and then we get it precisely double the width of the original design. And then we can take this and again drag it over here, hold down the Alt key like this, and apply to strokes. And now you see it's just the top half of that circle. Nice. So the next thing we need to do is make this uneven, and of course we're going to use the width tool for that. So we can just drag like this, and then a little smaller here, and a little wider here, and you get the idea what needs to be done, like so. But you see what happens here, that's not nice. So there are some very uneven things in there. How to get rid of those? So let's keep that zoomed in. That's a setting in the brush. I'm going to double click it again, and you see here's the overlap. So that's how that brush is folded. And when I'm going to go there, then we need to apply those width things again. And then it gets smoother. Normally the other setting is better, but in some cases you get better results with that option that I've chosen now. So that's how you create these kinds of design. Of course, when you just need a part of that circle with this kind of stripes, then you can also just draw half of that circle, or any design you want for that matter. So you could also apply it to kind of like this. And then you would do it with a reduced size of invisible rectangle. So we could just make that smaller and then create it like this as a new design with the correct overlap, and then use that. But when you have a line like this, where the design points outward and then inward, then you have to watch out, because once this gets too tight, then you see you get some ugly overlaps. So that's how you do it, and I hope this saves you some time.